Hi, welcome back to my channel and hello to my new subscribers. Lovely to have you here. So today we're going to make a card and I'll just run through what we might need in case you want to craft along. So I have a card base, a square card base, and I have a stamp set that we're going to use. This is W+9 Doodle Buds stamp set. Some patterned paper from Glitz, black and white, a die, leaves, don't know the name but I think it might be my favourite things, leaf die, some watercolour pencils, these are Inktense, and some watercolour paper, a VersaFine ink pad, brush, scissors and an acrylic block. So we'll get started with a piece of the watercolour paper and stamps. I'll just move the things we don't need out the way just now, and we'll stamp. I thought for the card we would do a little modern bunch of flowers on top of a white die with a little bit of the patterned paper. So first of all we'll just stamp out this modern flower onto a piece of the watercolour card. We're going to watercolour it with the pencils. I'll just put that out the way. So I have some water here and some pencils and my brush and a little bit of napkin. I have already coloured and fussy cut the other flowers, so I'm just doing this one to finish off the set that I've already coloured to save time on the video. So we'll just quickly colour this and I'm going to colour it. Just simply lift off some of the colour. I know that some people do this differently and don't want to wet their pencils, but I've had these for many years without any problem of the wood splitting or doing anything odd, so I'm happy to continue doing this way. And a little bit of pinky purple in the middle. Of the flower. And then we'll just add some more of the orange just to give it a little bit of shading around the edge there. Keeping it nice and loose. We're going to fussy cut round, so we don't need to keep to the edges especially. And a final little bit of the pink for the centre. There we are. So that's us coloured. We can put the pencils over to the side. And we can fussy cut this, but I'm just going to leave it to dry for a second and we'll just start to play around with how we want the card to look. I have already die cut the leaves using just the white cardstock, so we can move that out the way. And I have cut a strip of paper from the paper pad. Just cut a strip from that paper. These papers are nice, black and white. And the card base is, I think it's 15 centimetres. No, it's 14.5, and that's just nearly 6 inches. So I want this to have a nice, modern, clean and simple look. So I'm thinking about placing my die slightly overlapping the paper, somewhere there maybe, with the flowers sort of bunched up with some leaves. This might not be how it ends up, but it will be something like that once we cut out that orange flower. It will be something along those lines. Oops. You can get the picture about how it'll all be bunched up, and I think we'll put a sentiment here, maybe just the hello. And I think we'll just do that right now before we stick anything down, just in case it doesn't work out. Sometimes it doesn't, but we'll just give it a little stamp just to make sure. Yep. I always like to stamp them out just to make sure. Sometimes you need to gauge how much pressure you might need on a stamp. So if you do that first, you can see that it's all fine and it's all going to stamp out nicely. So I think we'll just put this, we'll just line that up with the lines on the glass mat. Make sure everything's quite straight so that we can get this there. We'll just give it a few seconds for the ink to take hold on the card. There we are. So we can take this off and put this back. And now this is dry enough. We'll just fussy cut round. Leave a tiny white border because that's what I did with the other ones. That's an easy one to fussy cut. And now we can just decide where that might go. So let's start to stick things down. So the first layer is the leaves, so we'll stick that down first, about there. And I'm just going to stick down certain leaves because the flowers on the top will keep it stuck. So we'll just stick down these top leaves. Just a little tiny blob in the middle because the ink will spread and I don't want it to go all over the card. So let's see, it was about here. Let's go for there. And we'll stick this. Again, not quite right at the edge because the glue will spread, and we want to just lift this up and get it. Now you do have a minute wiggle time with this. Let's line it up with a line and make sure we're straight. Yep. That's quite straight. Yep. And we're going to pop all of these on with some foam squares. Put the lid on the glue and get little tweezers and we'll click. Oops, that's just a little half of a one. We'll put all the foam squares on. You don't need to put too many on each one, and plus I'm keeping them to the middle so that I can overlap and decide where I want each one to be placed. So we can just do it, and I've got little half ones here. I'll put on the smaller leaves. There we are. So let's see how we want these. Put this one on the background, and I want this one to be my focal point, and we'll put this one, I think perhaps we want this lower down. Don't want that underneath here. So I think we'll start sticking down these. We'll put that. And we'll have this center one be just slightly lower. And we can have this one, maybe put that leaf on the top, maybe not. There we are. And we'll put the longer leaves put these in beside each other, two stems of leaves together. There we are. And then we will double up two leaves, I think, here, one here, and a second one beside it. And then the other one, last one, Now, I think as a finishing touch, we'll add either some acrylic dots or some sequins. I think for this one I would prefer the dots because it's got a more modern look and they're a stronger colour. So we'll have a look for some colours of dots that will match. The orange will match there. Do we have a pink? A pink or a yellow? There's yellow, but they're big. I wonder if I have yellow one. Oh, here's a smaller yellow. Don't think I have any pink ones. No, these ones. Yes, I think we'll do these ones back. So we'll just lift these up and we'll just randomly dot them, I think, round the sentiment. So we'll have, I'll just sit them gently just now until I can decide. And maybe a darker pink or a purple. I think maybe the purple. There. And we're happy with that. Give them a push down. And that's our card. Quite a modern look, quite minimalist, but I think quite eye-catching. So thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.